Hello and welcome back. I've been in a wedding band for years and it can get confusing when you book in a wedding band yourself. I just want to give some tips to you if you're getting married on how to set yourself up basically for success for a wedding night. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've probably played a billion weddings at this point. I have a good understanding how they're run. I know how difficult it must be for couples booking a band. Okay, so first one is going to be a venue tip. Having too large a space can kill the vibe. This is mainly just an observation from me as the musician usually on stage. But we've played some very big spaces in the past, and what you'll find is if you're not a very integrated group or there's certain family members, it's quite rare that you have a wedding that everyone is just a massive part of one group. So usually people from that family are over there, blah, 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 up at the bar, whatever. We've played a couple of weddings where the space is really large. There's just a starkness about the room. There's just people everywhere. Sorry, indigestion. There's people everywhere, people at the bar, and nobody's really enjoying. You might get 3 or 4 people on the dance floor. I don't know what it is, but it always tends to be strange. Unless you've got literally thousands of people in the room, which by all means, just cater for what you need. But space isn't always the best thing. Also, if it's possible, maybe consider a venue where the bar is actually in the same room as the live music. Some of the times we've been at venues where the bar is in a separate room, and obviously, alcohol is king at these events and weddings. So if it's too far away, sometimes it does kill a vibe. It's not even necessarily the band is bad or anything like that. It just happens that it's a walk. Once you get there, you see your cousin that you haven't seen in 30 years, whatever, and then you're chatting away and it's game over then basically. You're all there. Where's Linda? Oh, she's there. So it's a bit of a killer. So I would definitely say it'd be worth trying to get a place with a bar. Like I say, these aren't all deal breakers, but mainly trying to set you up for success for the night. The next tip is the actual band that you choose. I can always recommend our band 24K. We've been going for years. We have a wicked lineup. I'll throw up a little bit of a promo here. Links are in the description if you do want to book us for any event. But what I would say is go with your gut. Mainly because I would say if you see something and you go, wow, I'd really love that at my event or my wedding, then you may be disappointed then down the line if you pick something else or if you see something else. I think if you know, you know. If you pick the right band, you can get in contact with them. Usually you have quite a good rapport back and forth up until the day anyway. Yeah, it's a matter of just feeling comfortable as well. It's quite a big thing, especially if the band is playing your first dance, maybe playing a father and daughter dance, even playing the ceremony. It's always great to have clear communication with the band. Make sure you get that first, I would say. Just make sure there's a clear understanding. We actually work with the music agency. That's my next sort of, mini tip. If you are struggling to find a band, I would highly recommend contacting a music agency, because they do all the legwork for you. And to be honest, they do most of the legwork for us as well. They put all the details together for us so that we can basically focus on your event fully. We don't have to sort of go back and forth. If there's ever a time where, if you're a couple, we'll need to meet us or speak to us, we'll do like a video call or something like that. But yeah, mainly, an agency will deal with all of that, and it's great because you've got a dedicated team then you can contact whenever, and they are there to obviously contact you back. I would say if you are struggling to find somebody, that would be your best bet to help find somebody who is definitely great and have lots and lots of experience. I'll put the link down below for our agency. But like I say, I would strongly suggest going with your gut either way. Whatever you see, I would say go for that. So this one is going to be a touchy subject for musicians, but next tip is going to be sound limiters. So, sound limiters are these boxes. I don't have an example, but basically they're like these large boxes, usually in barns and things, right up in the corner. And you can see, like if you clap, you can see a green marker and it'll go into an amber and then a red. And basically it will cut the electricity if it stays too long on the red. Certain sound limiters work in different ways, but mainly they'll go into the red, and if they stay in the red for a certain amount of time, it'll cut all electricity, which is extremely dangerous for the musicians on stage because all of it is mostly electrical and could potentially endanger them and their gear. So when you turn it on, it comes back on automatically. There's no switching it back on. It just goes after a little bit. So when it comes back on, there's a chance of blowing a fuse or blowing whatever. So we don't like them. However, if the band is made aware ahead of time, they can prepare for it and be better off. Sometimes venues don't disclose this to the band or even the bride and groom, which I think is insane. So some people aren't even aware when they're booking a place that the venue has a sound limiter. So when it's quiet or when the band is like quiet, they're like, what's going on? They think it's sort of us just doing it. So yeah. We had quite a high profile Indian wedding in Sion House, just outside London. And in the father and daughter dance, it was fine. It was a slow, quiet song. As soon as we kicked into the set, the audio went. It just took us out because of the size of the room. And people started clapping and dancing, and it was adding to the noise, and usually it's picked up by a microphone in the room. It's sometimes impossible. However, like I say, there are things we can do if we know beforehand. We can bring an electric drum kit and we can sound check, obviously, to cater to this. It's just not favourable for musicians, and especially for the, like, if we're playing DJ music afterwards, you know, we want to try and keep the party going, not kill the vibe. It's not a deal breaker, I would say, for venues, because if you got your heart set on a venue and it's got the sound limiter, usually it's not too bad anyway. You can ask them maybe to play an example of how loud it could be when you're there. You're spending thousands and thousands of pounds on this venue, so I would definitely say ask them. You know, if they say no, then, but they probably will, so don't worry about that. I've written a list of like what bands love. All the information beforehand is great, so any timings, anything like, I don't know, maybe when the food is coming out, anything like that, all information is key for us. So, you know, what time we need to arrive, all setup times, that'd be great, you know, to know. Makes everything easier for us. It allows us then to work around your day. We love food. We like a cheese board. If there's food there for us, then that's lush. And to be honest, that's about it. We're usually quite relaxed. I mean, we get there, we don't expect much obviously of the bride and groom because it's your big day. We don't need anything really. We just crack on. I've written just a couple of things about what we don't like, not to be negative, but the main one for me is kids without ear protection. Drives me insane when I see kids, I mean mainly sub 1 year old or maybe 2 years, without ear defenders. We're loud, we're a band, and when I see people holding their babies next to the speakers, drives me insane. And you can grab a quick pair for sub 20 quid on Amazon. We've got some for Miles. We use them for the Wales game that we took him to. We use them anywhere. We're going to be using them now when we take him to see Luke Holmes in San Francisco. He's going to have those on the whole time. If he gets uncomfortable and takes them off, then we'll switch it up. We'll figure something out. He's a toddler at this point, so he's wriggling, but a baby really should have them on. If not, just stay away from the speakers. You don't know the damage that you're doing. I mean, it's bad enough for us on stage if we don't wear these in-ears. I mean, having the drums next to you blasting, the baby's only a couple of feet, you know, further than me, and the drums are also coming out the speakers because they're mic'd up. Yeah. That's not maybe what bands don't like, but that's what I don't like. It drives me insane. My key points are great communication between the band and obviously you as the client. All communication through, obviously, like I mentioned, an agency. 2 would be a great venue. It can be big if, of course, you have a large amount of guests, or maybe a smaller venue if you have a smaller amount of guests, and the atmosphere is sort of created then around having a nice amount of people, I suppose. And it keeps everyone together. The next one obviously is the band. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds probably of great bands in the UK, and I've played with lots of them. I played with some amazing musicians. You're more than likely picking somebody who is amazing. Just maybe get in contact with them if you like their vibe, then you know exactly what you're getting when you book them. And yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get too nitpicky about it, to be honest, because there are things that happen on gigs and some things change and blah 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 blah. It's a very busy day for the couple, so usually our job is just to make everything as easy as possible for them. It's kind of like you don't see the work that we do. It's kind of like everything in the wedding industry though. I mean, it's like that meme with the iceberg, and like you see that tiny bit up above sea level and then everything below. So it's like, you know, driving to the gig, set up and sound check in and first dance and all that stuff, and then there's like the performance. It just means that you're doing your job. Anyway, do you have any suggestions for any more tips for couples booking a wedding band? If you're a couple watching this, do you have any questions for myself? Like I say, got plenty of experience. Or would you like to comment on anything included in the video? If you can always like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be amazing. Take care and all the best.